Right, we're going to look at the specified practical of making a salt crystal. We're going to make some copper sulfate, a lovely blue crystal. This is exactly the same kind of salt as things like table salt, sodium chloride. That forms a lovely white crystal. But today we're looking for a nice blue colour. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've measured out 50 centimetres cubed of sulfuric acid. Okay, and then using a Bunsen burner on a safety flame and a tripod and gauze, I'm going to gently warm it. Just the reason why I'm warming it is so when I add my base, my copper oxide, I'm able to have more in there because we know that solubility increases when we warm something. So I don't want it to boil. In terms of safety, I don't want sulfuric acid boiling because it's going to lead to toxic fumes. Once this is warmed then, I'm going to take some of my black copper oxide powder and using a spatula, I'm going to add just a little bit at a time, okay? But I'm looking to add this in excess. Now, excess means that I'm going to add more than I need. So at the start, we're going to see a lovely blue solution form. But then we know when excess will be there because I'll see a black powder down at the bottom. So I think that will be warm enough now. So I'm just going to move my safety flame out of the way. And then using my spatula and my copper oxide, I'm going to add this in now. Just very quickly, I'm going to use a spatula here. The hazard is that this is an irritant. I don't want it on my hands for my control measure. I'm going to use a spatula. So just a little bit at a time. And then I'm going to stir it through. Each time making sure I stir in as much as possible. Okay.
It doesn't matter because it's in excess, so as long as you can see it in excess.
So this is step 1, warm your acid. Step 2, if you want to do your method sheet right now, add copper oxide in excess.
So excess means it's all dissolved and you should see a little bit at the bottom because that's the excess. I think you can. It's hard to see.
It's hard to see,
Yeah,
but there's little bits of powder at the bottom. Now, I don't want this excess powder. Okay, so at the moment I've got a solution of copper sulfate salt and I've got some excess powder. So to remove that excess powder, I am going to filter it. So I'm just going to quickly wet my filter paper so it doesn't move around. It just sticks onto my filter. And then using a clean beaker, I'm going to pour this through very, very slowly. Now you'll see that lovely blue solution I've been talking about. I'm not going to overflow it. Obviously, if I put too much in, it's going to end up on the table. So I'm going to have to take a little break at the moment. And I can finally add that copper sulfate through. Now you can see that excess powder down at the bottom now. I've got that blue solution mixed up with that black powder. So just very quick recap. Step 1, I'm going to heat 50 centimetres cubed of sulfuric acid. Step 2, using a spatula, I'm going to add copper oxide in excess. Step 3, using a filter paper, funnel and a clean beaker, I'm going to filter this mixture to remove any excess powder. Now this can take a while. Just got to be patient with it. If we try and force it through, we will end up with powder in the bottom, so you have just got to be really patient. Okay, well I've filtered my lovely solution. So I've now got no excess powder. You can see I've got a pure solution of copper sulfate. So very quick recap. Step 1, heat 50 centimetres cubed of sulfuric acid. Step 2, add copper oxide in excess. And then step 3, filter it. Step 4, I'm then going to use an evaporating basin. Place it on top of my tripod and gauze. I'm then going to transfer my solution of copper sulfate. And I'm then going to evaporate half of the liquid, okay? I'm just speeding up the process of evaporation. I'm not going to remove all of the liquid though, because I don't want to burn my crystals. And the longer we leave it to dry, the larger my crystals will be. So I'm going to just turn it into a rolling flame, and then I'm going to set it to boil. And stop. Right, so I've boiled off about half of the water now, so I'm just going to turn that back to my safety flame. And now, all I'm going to do with my mixture is I'm allowing it to evaporate at its own pace, so no further boiling is needed. I'm going to probably need to dry this for 24 to 48 hours. By the end of it, I'm going to have some lovely crystals, and we'll show you a picture of that at the end of the video.